Hello everyone, hope you all are fit, fine and safe. Welcome you all in the next session of our chemistry class on the same chapter, chemical reactions and equations. So, our today's topic is the continuation of our previous one, that is the type of chemical reactions. So today we will discuss the type of reactions on the basis of heat. So on the basis of heat, the reactions are divided into two categories. One is exothermic and the second one is endothermic. So here we have two flasks. One shows exothermic reaction and the other shows endothermic reaction. You can easily see in exothermic reactions the arrows are pointing outward, which indicate that the heat is released out in this case. Whereas in endothermic, you will see the arrows are moving inward, which indicates that the heat is absorbed in the flask. So now let's discuss our first type of chemical reaction, that is exothermic reaction. So how we can define it? It is defined as the reaction in which heat is liberated out. For example, when we burn carbon in the presence of air, it will form carbon dioxide. Along with the formation of carbon dioxide, a large amount of heat is liberated out, which proves that this reaction is exothermic. Let's take another example. Hydrogen gas combined with nitrogen gas to form ammonia, and when there is the formation of ammonia take place, a large amount of heat is liberated out, which make the surroundings hotter. So again, this is the example of exothermic reaction. Next example, formation of water. When water is formed by the combination of hydrogen as well as oxygen gas, a large amount of heat is liberated. Similarly, sulfur trioxide formation. So when sulfur dioxide reacts with oxygen gas, it forms sulfur trioxide along with the liberation of large amount of heat. So these are the four examples of exothermic reaction. So now on page number 7 of your NCERT book, there is the term written over here which is based on exothermic process. So do respiration is considered as an exothermic process? So the answer is yes. The respiration is considered as the exothermic process. How? As we know, respiration is the process in which energy is released from food in our body. So this energy is liberated in the form of heat. So respiration is an exothermic process. So here you find the details. During this digestion, food is broken down into simpler substances. For example, rice, potatoes, bread contain carbohydrates. These carbohydrates are broken down to form glucose. The glucose combines with oxygen in the cell of our body and provide us energy. And this energy is in the form of heat. That's why respiration is considered as an exothermic process. So our next type of reaction is endothermic reaction. I divide the term endo into two halves. One is endo and the second one is thermic. So the word endo means within and thermic means heat. So the reaction in which heat is absorbed within is known as endothermic reaction. So how we can define it? It is defined as the reaction in which the heat is absorbed. Whereas in exothermic we read the reaction in which the heat is liberated out. So this is the main difference between exothermic and endothermic reaction. Now let's discuss our first example of endothermic reaction, that is photosynthesis. In photosynthesis, Carbon dioxide and water combine with each other in the presence of sunlight and chlorophyll. It means they are taking energy from outside to form sugar as well as oxygen. Now, during this reaction, the heat is absorbed from the surroundings. So, after this reaction, the surroundings are cooler down. So, photosynthesis are considered to be an exothermic process. So, now let's discuss one more example of these two kind of reactions. So, first we will discuss about exothermic. As we read, in exothermic reaction, the heat is liberated out from the reaction. So, let's take the example of calcium oxide react with water. So, when calcium oxide react with water, it forms calcium hydroxide, which is also known as slaked lime. So, when slaked lime is formed, you will see that the temperature of your test tube increases, which shows that this process is exothermic in nature. Now let's take the example of endothermic. As we read, in endothermic process, the heat is absorbed from the surroundings. So let's discuss about its example. In this example, we have salt, that is ammonium chloride. So when we add water into it, it forms ammonium hydroxide. After the reaction, you will observe that the temperature of your test tube decreases, which shows that this is the example of endothermic reaction. Now, the next type of chemical reaction is redox reaction. We divide the term redox into two halves, reduction and oxidation. So first we will discuss what is oxidation and reduction. So oxidation and reduction can be defined in number of ways. First, we will define oxidation and reduction in terms of oxygen transfer. So oxidation, by the name itself it is clear, oxidation means gain of oxygen and reduction means the loss of oxygen. We can also define oxidation and reduction in terms of hydrogen transfer. So oxidation is the loss of hydrogen and reduction is the gain of hydrogen. So now let's discuss oxidation and reduction on the basis of oxygen and hydrogen. So first we will take the example on the basis of oxygen. So here in this example we have two reactants. One is copper oxide and second one is carbon. After the reaction, it will form copper plus carbon dioxide. Here you can see copper oxide is reduced into copper as it loses their oxygen, whereas carbon is getting oxidized. Why? Because carbon gain the oxygen. So this is the kind of oxidation and reduction on the basis of oxygen. Now let's discuss another example on the basis of hydrogen. So here again we have two reactants, one is ammonia and second one is bromine gas. So when they react with each other, they form nitrogen gas as well as hydrogen bromide. So here the ammonia lose their hydrogen to form nitrogen gas. So it is getting oxidized and bromine gas gain the hydrogen to form hydrogen bromide. So as it gain hydrogen, so bromine gas is getting reduced. So now let's discuss oxidation and reduction in one more way, that is by electron transfer. So oxidation is defined as the loss of electron, whereas reduction is the gain of electron. So here there is one example. In this example, you see zinc is getting oxidized as moving from reactant to product side, it lose their electron, whereas copper is getting reduced because copper, while moving from reactant to product side, gain the electron. So we can define here oxidation and reduction in terms of electron transfer. So here we have some more examples of redox reaction. First is methane react with oxygen gas to form carbon dioxide and water. So here methane gain the oxygen to form carbon dioxide, so it will get oxidized, whereas oxygen gas is getting reduced. Let's discuss another example. Sodium react with chlorine to form sodium chloride. Here sodium lose the electron, so it will get oxidized, and chlorine gain the electron, it will get reduced. Next, sodium react with oxygen gas to form sodium oxide. Again sodium lose the electron, so it will get oxidized, and oxygen gain the electron, so it will get reduced. Next, one more example. Sodium react with sulfur to form sodium sulfide. So here again sodium lose electron, so it will get oxidized, and sulfur gain electron, so it will get reduced. So now we will discuss about what is redox reaction, as oxidation and reduction both occur simultaneously. That's why this reaction is known as redox reaction. So what is this? It is the reaction in which oxidation and reduction, both the reactions take place simultaneously. So here we discuss one example. In this, copper oxide react with hydrogen gas to form copper and water. So here copper oxide lose their oxygen, and hydrogen gas gain that oxygen to form water. So this is the example of redox reaction. So now on page number 12 of your NCERT, you will find the topic oxidation and reduction. Here they took the example of copper oxide. So in this activity, what they did, they heat the china dish which contains 1 gram of copper powder. So when you heat copper, it will react with oxygen gas to form copper oxide, which is black in color. So here again you will see copper oxide is reduced to copper as copper lose their oxygen, whereas hydrogen gas gain oxygen, so it will get oxidized, right? So now we will discuss what are oxidizing and reducing agents. So first we will define oxidizing agents. Oxidizing agents are those agents which give their oxygen to other substances or remove hydrogen from it. For example, here I took one example in which copper oxide react with carbon to form copper and carbon dioxide. So here copper oxide lose their oxygen to form copper, so copper oxide is reduced here as it gives their oxygen to someone else, so it is considered as an oxidizing agent. Okay, next is reducing agent. So what is reducing agent? Reducing agents remove oxygen from other substances or give hydrogen to it. So here carbon gain oxygen to form carbon dioxide. So here carbon took the oxygen of copper and itself get oxidized to carbon dioxide. So here carbon is considered as a reducing agent. Hope you all understand the topic. Thanks for watching the video. Press subscribe button for more videos. Thank you.